Hi, and welcome back to day 12 of the Archer video sew along. Today is a very quick one for you. We're just going to be sewing up the side seams. This is an easy day before we move to the collar and collar stand next time. So take this day, get everything finished up that you need to finish, sew your side seams, and then take a break because the collar and collar stand is a big job. Not hard, just a big job. So let's dive into sewing our side seams. All right, so here we have our shirt with 2 sleeves. We're going to start by folding it inside out. Now arrange your front and back so they are aligned at the underarm and side seam. And I like to start by pinning my underarm seam because those should align. And then I will pin at the hem. I then center that. And again. Then we're going to do the same for the sleeve. So we have a pin here. Going to align our cut edges. Pin at the hem. Center. I'm going to just put a pin closer to the underarm because you'll see we're going to take this pin out and I don't want this to move. And there. And so now you'll notice that the seam allowances of the sleeve are pressed towards the sleeve. So we're going to want to start sewing at the hem of the body up through the underarm seam. That way our machine presser foot by default presses these in the right direction and then continue down to the hem of the sleeve. If we were sewing starting at the sleeve, we'd get to here and we'd have to shove both of these under our foot, and our foot is going to want to make them go in the direction the foot's going. So oftentimes you'll end up with one seam flipped to the wrong direction. So start at the hem, through the underarm, out the sleeve. Let's go do that. Okay, so you're going to align that. We're going to be sewing with our 1/2 inch seam allowance. I do back tack here. And you're just going to sew. Remove your pins as you get to them. And again, make sure that everything's aligned. And then here we are at the seam. So we're going to just slowly sew to this point so we can keep the pin in as long as possible. I just hand wheel 1, remove the pin, and then continue sewing. Raise your needle and then clip your threads. Now at this point, before you even leave your machine, check to make sure both of these seam allowances are in the right direction. They are, so we're good to go. We're now going to finish this seam, and I'm going to do that with my serger. All right, so now that we have this seam sewn, we're going to need to press it. So grab your ironing board. Now lay your shirt so that it's right side out. And we're going to press the seam allowance towards the back of the garment. Now for the sleeve, we're going to need to use a sleeve roll. So grab yours. and insert it into the sleeve. And again, keep pressing the seam allowance in the same direction towards the back of the garment. All right, now you can see this lovely side seam. You're almost done. There's one final step. We are going to top stitch a 1/4 inch from the seam line along the length of this seam to anchor the seam allowance into place. Now, you may be wondering how you're going to get this under your machine. So turn your garment so it's wrong side out. And you're going to start at the hem, and you're going to sew up, and you're going to slowly sew into the sleeve until you reach the end. It's really hard to explain, so let's head over to the machine and I'll demo it for you. All right, so you can see here I've taken the table off my machine and the free arm is activated. I just find it easier to do like this without the table. You can experiment and see what works for you. So here we go. We're going to start at the hem. I'm using the 1/4 inch foot, so that will align here with the seam line. And then we're just going to start sewing. And there's no need to back tack here. Now you're going to want to make sure your sleeve is accessible. We are sewing over the arm side here, the armhole seam, and into the sleeve. So you can see here we're just going into there. So let me reposition the camera a bit so you can hopefully see that a little better. It's hard to keep my hands out of here. And so you're just going to do little bites, keeping things aligned. Reposition a tiny bit. And you're going to need to just keep moving your fingers, making sure everything is even and there's no puckers. And it really is just like 5 stitches at a time. It's also a little easier when you're not trying to film it. So you guys should have a little bit of a better time than me here. But again, it's a lot of, moving the fabric, but again, it's not hard. So now we're at the end. We're going to raise our needle, lift our presser foot, and then I just kind of reach in here to clip my threads. And hopefully that's both of them. And then you're just going to pull it out gently from under the foot. There we go. And that's that. All right, so here we have a nice top stitched seam. On the back you can see that we've caught the seam allowance. so that's not going to be going anywhere. And on the front, you'll see the line of stitching and the seam line. So you're just going to repeat those steps for the other side. And that's it for today. So head over and do that. All right, after you've repeated for the other side, you now have a shirt that you can try on. It's a lot of steps in for a button-up before you can try it on, but I think it's all worth it. So stay tuned next time for collars and collar stands. It's a lot of steps and a lot of information, but again, it's not hard. It's just many things. So don't worry about it being too hard for you. That is it for today. Stay tuned for our next episode. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below, and make sure you subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of our video updates. I'll see you next time. Bye.